On any given night in South Korea, somewhere between 1 and 2 million people are sleeping somewhere that is not a home and not a hotel. They are sleeping on the heated floor of a Jjimjilbang, a public bathhouse that never closes. The average overnight stay costs roughly 10,000 Korean won, which is less than $8. That price point alone raises a question worth asking. What kind of society builds a parallel hospitality system so affordable that it effectively competes with formal accommodation? And what does it tell us about the pressures ordinary people are navigating? According to the Korea Sauna and Jjimjilbang Association, there are approximately 8,000 to 9,000 Jjimjilbang operating across South Korea at any given time. Seoul alone accounts for more than 2,000. A survey conducted by the Korea Culture and Tourism Institute found that Jjimjilbang rank among the top 5 most used leisure facilities by Korean adults. The overnight fee at a typical facility sits between 8,000 and 15,000 won, well under $15, while a budget hotel room in Seoul now averages above 80,000 won per night, according to data tracked by the Korea Tourism Organization. That is a price gap of roughly 6 to 1. Research published by Statistics Korea indicates that single-person households, which now make up more than 34% of all Korean households as of 2023, are among the heaviest users of shared public leisure and rest facilities. The Jjimjilbang as a modern institution traces back to the 1990s, but its roots are older. Traditional Korean bathhouses called mogyokdang had existed for decades, built around the concept of communal hygiene in an era when private bathing facilities were rare. The transition into the all-night multi-service Jjimjilbang format accelerated sharply after the 1997 Asian financial crisis, what Koreans call the IMF crisis. As unemployment spiked and disposable income collapsed, entrepreneurs expanded bathhouses into full social venues, adding heated sleeping floors, food stalls, nail salons, PC rooms, and television lounges. The logic was simple. Give people a full evening of warmth, rest, and community for the price of a single meal. South Korea's uniquely cold winters and its culture of ondol, the tradition of heated floors originating from ancient Korean home design, made the format feel natural rather than desperate. Over 2 decades, what began as a working-class refuge quietly became a cross-class institution used by students, salarymen, and elderly pensioners alike. The Jjimjilbang's affordability conceals real social tensions. Critics, including researchers at the Seoul Institute, have noted that a growing share of overnight users are not tourists or tired office workers. They are people experiencing housing instability or homelessness. A 2019 report by the Seoul Metropolitan Government identified Jjimjilbang as an informal housing layer for a segment of the urban poor, particularly older men living outside the formal welfare system. At the same time, the industry itself is under pressure. Rising real estate costs have pushed closures in prime urban districts, and a Korea Development Institute analysis noted that the number of registered bathhouse businesses declined by nearly 15% between 2015 and 2022. The COVID-19 pandemic accelerated that contraction, with mandatory closures dealing a severe blow to an industry operating on thin margins. What remains is a smaller, more resilient network, but one that now carries more social weight per facility than ever before. The Jjimjilbang is not simply a quirky cultural export, it is a case study in how societies improvise around the gaps that formal systems leave open. When housing becomes unaffordable, when hotels price out ordinary workers, when welfare nets have holes, spaces like the Jjimjilbang fill the void, absorbing pressure that would otherwise become visible crisis. Similar informal rest economies exist in Japan's manga cafes, in the 24-hour fast food chains of Hong Kong, and in the night buses of British cities. What makes the Korean version distinctive is its scale, its cultural legitimacy, and its deliberate design for comfort rather than just survival. The broader pattern is universal. When a society prices out its middle and lower tiers from rest, those tiers will find a way to rest anyway. The question every city planner should be asking is not why Jjimjilbang exist, but what need they reveal that nothing else has managed to meet.